What's up, Foundation? What's up, YouTube? Man, it's me, your big partner, Cartoon 5-3. Man, I'm back with this story. Man. You know what I'm saying? This is the one that y'all have been waiting on. For my paid subscribers, man. As you can tell from the title, what it's about. This, in case you can't read, I'll give it to you in the raw. Man, listen, this is about the day. This is about the day that the Crips and the GDs got into it in a maximum security prison in Alabama. This incident took place back in 2016. It wasn't good, man. It wasn't good. It was not good. It was not good. Was I there? No. Do I know about it though? Yes, because that's why I'm finna tell y'all about it. But I wasn't there. But even though I wasn't there in that prison at the time, this resonated throughout the whole Alabama prison system. This incident right here caused crips and disciples to go at it through several different prisons in the Alabama prison system. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. I might be off a little bit with the months, but this was around September 2016. At this time, this was in a prison called St. Clair. This is one of the three maximum security prisons that Alabama has. At this time, Crips was pushing a hard line, man. Crips was pushing a hard line in this prison. They were the dominant gang. They was just going buck wild. You know what I'm saying? They had got to the point to where the administration was scared of them. They was stabbing up lieutenants, captains, and all type of stuff. Doing just rough riding. For years, the prison, the name of the prison was St. Clair. But at this time, people within the prison, they had changed the name of the prison to Crip Clair. They was calling the prison Crip Clair because Crips were everywhere. Now, of course, when you get a group of dudes that's that large, everybody ain't tough. Everybody ain't riders. You know what I'm saying? True enough, you got your killers and you you got your monster goons. But everybody is not like that. And we all know that. I don't care what group you from. Crip, Blood, Disciple, Vice Lord. No matter what group you from, you're going to have your riders. You're going to have your busters. So it was kind of the same thing with the Crips. But at this time, it was so many Crips that you couldn't really tell who was the busters and who weren't because of the abundance of them. When they came because there was so many of them. So now you know that sometimes dudes gonna get the big head. Dudes gonna get the big head and start doing big head stuff. Once they had did what they did with the administration, like I say, they had the police scared. They had the administration scared. The captains, lieutenants, sergeants, the whole thing, man. From the warden on down, they didn't know what to do with them because there were just so many of them. At one time, the lieutenant had jumped on the Crip while he was cuffed up in handcuffs, punched him in the face, tried to rough him up real tasty like. Bad deal. Bad deal. That same police got served, and he got stabbed in the eye, got lit the F up about messing with that Crip gang. They got him cleaned up out that prison. So now after this here, Crips man just started running roughshod over any and everybody. To the point of it starts spilling over into disrespect. It starts spilling over into disrespect, y'all, toward other groups. At this time, The other groups, all the other groups, was a little hesitant about standing up to him. Was a little hesitant about standing up to him because of their numbers. But now you know you can only push your weight around so long before people really get tired of it and say, you know what, man, we don't care how many of them it is. We finna do something. And that's what happened, man. That's what happened. You had some heavy hitters there from off that disciple tree. You had some there that had been sitting back just watching the shenanigans go on to the point to where they got tired of it. And when they got tired of it, that's when the plotting and the planning started. They knew that they could not confront the Crips in a head-on confrontation because it was too many of them. You know what I'm saying? But now, one of the main ones, he was a IGD dude. He was an insane gangster disciple out of Montgomery, Alabama. I ain't gonna say his name, but he was a thinker. Like the song used to say, I think very deeply. He was a thinker. And the reason why I knew he was a thinker is because at one time, me and him used to be like this. We used to be super duper cool. He was one of my chess partners I played chess with all the time. And, you know, we used to live in the same block together, and I would kick it and talk with him. This was years ago, before the incident had happened. And I would sit talking with him, you know, talk with him, kick it. I knew how he thought. I knew his mentality. And he was dangerous. I seen him perform several times. Wasn't nothing scary about it. And he had power. He had not only did he have the ear of all the disciples out the city of Montgomery, Alabama, no matter what faction they were from, but he had the ear of a lot of the other disciples that was in the prison, all the IGDs. He had teamed up with another guy. Another guy, I don't want to say his name. I knew him very well. Knew him very, very well. At one time, back in the mid-90s, we was like this here. As time went on, it grew apart. He changed. As he got older, he started changing and became something different that I didn't fool with. I had been stopped fooling with him years prior to this. Years prior to before this incident took place. So anyway, he was out of Mobile. He was out of Mobile, Alabama. He came up under what you call the new breed. He was a BG, a black gangster, a new breed. And his voice held a lot of weight. Held a lot of weight. Not only did it hold a lot of weight over the new breeds, it held a lot of weight over a lot of the dudes that was from Mobile. It held a lot of weight over the Muslims because he was playing both sides of the fence. You know, he was doing the Muslim thing and he was doing the new breed thing. You know what I'm saying? And he was another dangerous individual. I'll give him that. From here, he would get down. Not only would he get down from here, his voice carried a lot of weight to where if he said jump, they jumped. If he said squat, they squat. You know? So anyway, these two got together and they plotted. They were like, hey man, we sick of them Crips. You know, some got to be done. But like I say, they were smart enough to know that they couldn't confront the Crip gang in a head-on confrontation because it would have been bad for them. Very bad for them. So what really pushed them to the last final straw was the other guy that was an insane disciple. Him and his people had got a dope pack stole. It came in through the visiting yard, and when it came over the gate, or however it came over the gate, Crips got it. Crip dude got it and kept it. So now they came and they asked, hey man, look, let us get that back. That's not y'all's. Can we get that back? Now, if I would have been there, if I would have been in the prison at the time, this whole incident would never have took place. It would never have happened because I wouldn't allow for they dope to get took. I would have found out. I'd have told them, hold on, because it would have came to me. It would have had no choice, but it came to me. Hey, Tune, man, your people got our stuff. Can we get our stuff back, man? And I'd have told them, hold on, let me check into it. And I would have checked into it. I would have found out which one of my people had the dope. I'd have got it back and gave it back to them, or whatever was left of it. It was nobody there at this time with something to think with, man. It was some riders there, but you know what I'm saying? You could be tough as nails all day long. If you don't have nothing to think with, you are a liability in the end. And it took me going through the California prison system to learn that. You can have all the get up and go you got. You could be a real live wire. You could be a brand new set of jumper cables. But if you ain't got nothing up top to guide your aggression, in the end, you will be a liability. And this was took place in St. Clair at this time. Nobody there had enough sense to step up and straighten this incident out. You know what I'm saying? Greed kicked in. The bullyism kicked in. We tough. We better than everybody kicked in. And so it was a no-go. You're not getting nothing back. We ain't got it. We don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so cool. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. That was the straw that broke the camel's back, man. So that's when they went to plotting. That's what they went. They started plotting. Like I say, they knew they couldn't confront us in a head-on attack. So now the plot and the plan kicked off. What they did, they singled out each and every crip that they knew was gonna get down, that they knew was gonna go without no ifs, ands, or buts. Which it was a lot there that would, but now they went for the top tier heavy hitters. Not only that, they went for all the ones they knew had rank, they knew had power, they knew had say so. They wanted to make a statement. And so what they did, it took time, they secretly swirled around and got it and had secret meetings with all their people. And they said, when we're going to enact this plan, we're going to ambush the Crips, we're going to get them, we're going to single them out, and we're going to attack. Some real live Cali tactics they was putting down at this time. So anyway, unbeknownst to the Crips, all this plotting is going on. They just still running around willy-nilly, doing what they do, thinking that they were invincible and couldn't be touched. Okay, so now look here. Weeks passed by. Once they enacted their plan was to at first call a meeting. They wanted to call a meeting with some of the leaders, some of the heavy hitters from the Crips. And what they had planned to do was, once they got all the ones, because you know what I'm saying, I think it was like 5 or 6 that showed up for this meeting. And they say, well, look, don't bring any weapons. We ain't gonna have no weapons. We gonna meet over here and this and that's such and such block. So the powers that be that were amongst the Crips at that time, they agreed on it. Okay, well, we just gonna go over here and talk it out and see what's up. Unbeknownst, they were walking into a death trap. The disciples had already plotted. It's like, look, we gonna have our weapons, but we gonna pat them down, because what you do before you go into the cell, disciples gonna pat the Crips down, and Crips gonna pat the disciples down. But what they had did, what they slick behind, they had already had weapons in the cell, in strategic spots where the meeting was going to take place. So boom, they had said, once they got them in there, what they were going to do is, like, around the whole prison, they was putting 2 and 3 dudes on this target, 2 and 3 dudes on that target. They strategically put something together that you would usually see in a California prison system. And all around the prison, what it was gonna be is, at this certain time, when they took off and did what they did, you was gonna be able to see, because the police was gonna come running and all that. Bang! They were supposed to take off all around the prison and start doing what they do. Okay, what happened was the Crips were on their way over to this other side of the prison to meet up. I had this meeting with the disciples. Random police stopped them. They never made it over there. They didn't make it. They couldn't go. Boom. So that meeting didn't take place. That meeting didn't take place. So now what they did, they turned around and they maneuvered their pieces into a different position. Okay, well, look, we just gonna hit this one, this, boom, 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 boom. Everybody that they decided they was gonna hit, boom, they set it up. And about a couple of days later, at a certain given time, bang, the doo-doo hit the fan. They enacted a successful ambush. They enacted a bloodbath, y'all. Crips didn't know it was coming, didn't have no idea it was coming, was not even thinking about it coming. In every block, even on the yard, the yard was open on the yard, even on the visiting yard, in the blocks, in the different holding cells, you know what I'm saying? At a certain given time, they all moved as one. They targets were, doing a myriad of different things. Some was lifting weights, some was playing chess, some was playing dominoes, some was looking at TV, some was in the cell sleep, some was coming off the visiting yard, some was on the yard. Just all the ones that they wanted, the main ones, they took off. At that time, when they took off, it was a major uproar. It was a major uproar, man. Dudes was getting hit all over the prison. Getting hit. Some of the Crips that was there, did they fight? Yes. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Because, you had, some of the Crips walked around heated all the time. When I say heated, they had their knives on them all the time. Shout out to the homie Nut, man. Shout out to the homie Nut from Opelika. 6-0 Nut, wherever you at, well, keep your head up, man. So anyway, it was a little bit of stabbing back and forth. Well, no, I ain't gonna say a little bit. Maybe one or two of the disciples took a puncture, but they enacted their plan to the fullest. It was many Crips got airlifted up out of there that day in helicopters, sent to the infirmaries, beat up, smashed up, hitting the head with stuff, stabbed up, just jumped on all the way around. You know what I'm saying? It was a ambush sneak attack that they did not see coming, man. And they paid the price. It paid the price, man. Dudes was shook up. Dudes was hurt. Dudes was hurt bad. So now you got the police running around all over the prison, trying to stop stuff, squash stuff, trying to save people's lives, trying to get the prison locked down. It was a bad deal for the gang that day, man. It was a bad deal. When they finally got the prison back under control, had everybody locked down, start locking people up, sending people to the hospital, airlifting people out, and the whole hookup. It was bad. Afterwards, word started spreading around the whole prison system because at this time, cell phones. So, dudes like, what? Around the whole prison system. So now the initial takeoff, the initial push, the initial ambush was very, very successful for the disciples. Very successful. They all came together. It wasn't just a GD thing. The GDs, the BDs, the IGDs, the BGs, all of them came together. All of them came together for this ambush. And they enacted their plan. So now in the days to come afterwards, though, when Crips woke up, Now they woke up a sleeping giant though. They woke up a sleeping giant in the system because, like I say, now the blinders are off. We know it ain't, you know what I'm saying, cool no more. This is when it started spreading around the whole system. Now, in Alabama prison system, Crips Crips outnumber the disciples. Now it used to not be like when I first got locked up, it wasn't like that because the first gang that hit Alabama was disciples. But now, as years went by, the Crips and the Bloods just, like blowed up, just woof. That's what all the youngsters on the street coming into prison. That's what they wanted to be, Crips and Bloods. Boom. Now, so around the whole prison system, no. That's when the retaliation took off. In prison after prison after prison, they own them phones like, cuz this would happen, that would happen, this would happen, that would happen. They won that. The initial ambush. They were successful in the initial ambush. But in the long run of it, though, they were not successful. Because when them phones started getting made in different prisons, you know what I'm saying, you had family members of some of these dudes that was chopped up. You had homeboys, immediate homeboys, you know what I'm saying, in different prisons of the homeboys that was chopped up. And not only just that, just due to the fact that they were Crips, the Crip gang woke up. They woke up a sleeping giant. And dudes was coming out they cell in other prisons, running to their other partners. Hey man, woo, 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 look at this. Listen. Getting on the phone. What? Coming up out they cell, taking off. They, taking off on the disciples. Boom, 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 just doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? But now, disciples, they was getting down too because they got the same phone calls. And you know what I'm saying? They had got the same phone calls. In fact, a lot of them knew in different prisons because of the phones. They knew what was going to happen that day. And so they had already been prepared for the fallout that was going to come. So in different prisons, it was going down. When it first reached me, I was maybe, I had just went up for parole. And I had a little bit of time left before I was going back up again. So now when word finally reached me, I was in a prison called Limestone, a lower level prison. So when word reached me, and at this time, wasn't no cell phones. This was the prison I was telling you about nobody wanted to go to because it was the snitch capital of the Alabama prison system. So it made it a little bit harder for us to get information because in this prison wasn't no cell phones. We had to get it second, third, fourth hand, people coming in on the chain from different places. Boom. But now, dude named Rock, I'm going to say his name, dude named Rock, he was over the disciples on the yard. He came to me. He came to the block I was in one day, about 3-4 deep. Tune, let me holler at you. Now, we had heard about it. They had heard about it. We kind of heard about it around the same time. So when they came to the block 3 deep, I was like about 9 deep in our block, and because I was talking about something to my people. So when they came, dude come to me say, Tune, man, Rock outside, man, he want to holler at you. I'm like, what he want, cuz? He like, man, I don't know. Might be about whatever took place in St. Clair. I'm like, okay. I go out, I talk to him, and the conversation went, basically like this here. Man, look, I know Tune. What's up, homie? I'm like, shoot, what's up, cuz? I say, listen. He say, listen, you know what happened? I know you done heard about it. I done heard about it. He say, man, look, we don't need that here. We don't need that here. I said, man, what you talking about, man? Talk to me. He say, man, look, we getting along. We ain't, you know what I'm saying? Whatever took place in St. Clair, we don't even know all of it yet. He say, man, We know stuff is going on around the system now. He say, man, we've been getting along right here in this prison for years together, man. Ain't been no funk, ain't been no drama. It ain't been this and that. Man, I don't want to see that get messed up behind what's happening in another prison, especially when we don't have all the info on it. I said, okay. Now, granted, at this time, I didn't know the severity of what happened. I did not know who all it got popped. I didn't know who all it got bust up. I didn't know who all had got done to. None of it. I didn't know how. I had no information on that. The whole thing was an ambush, and this, that, and the other. I didn't know nothing about it at this time. I didn't hear about it till way later on when dudes was coming in on the chain that was in the prison at that time. So I told him, I say, well, look, man, we ain't finna trip, man. We getting along here. We ain't gonna bust it up. We just gonna keep getting along. He like, all right, cool. It was at least maybe 3 months later when I finally got the whole scoop. Now, did I enact the ambush? No, I didn't. No, I did not. But relations was very, very strained. Relationship between Crips and Disciples at this time in this prison I was in became very strained. Especially when we had a little young Crip dude out of Birmingham come to the prison. Word was sent on him from the Disciples that they wanted him got because he had stabbed one of them. They wanted him got. Word had already reached us what he had did, this, that, and the other. When he came to the prison, he came and went to the lockup. We knew he was in lockup. So we knew he was gonna be let out of lockup. We knew he was getting out. So I called him and let all the homies know. I'm like, cuz, hey man, the homie coming out. If it go down, it go down. Now he had already was in another prison, and the Disciples tried to get him, but it got him transferred to this prison here. So now, and we had heard about that. So now that he was in the prison I was in, I immediately called a meeting and told homies, I'm like, look, man, cuz coming out here, man. They supposed to get him. They got a what we would call a green light. They don't call it a green light. They call it something else. But they supposed to get him. So I let the homies know that's not gonna happen. Not for free. Not here. It ain't gonna happen. So we talk. I'm letting them know. I'm like, cuz we finna rally the troops. Cuz we finna circle the wagons. It ain't finna happen. So boom. Everybody was in agreement. But me being the political guy that I was, now it was my turn to go cross that grass to the other block and talk to Rock. And I never forget, man, when I went over there to talk to him, they was looking like, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't there. He wasn't there. When I went in the block, he wasn't there. People was looking. So boom, I told somebody, I said, look, hey, tell him I'm looking for him. I need to holler at him. So now, I don't know, I guess they had took that the wrong way because that night when the yard opened up after dinner, he came over to my block 15 deep. What? 15 deep. Dude told me he was outside. So when I went out, I'm looking at him and I'm looking at all the rest of them. So I'm like, shoot, man, what's up? He like, man, what's up, Tune? I'm like, shoot, what's happening? He like, man, they said, yo, you was looking for me, man. You want to holler at me. Say you was looking for me. I'm like, yeah, I was looking for you, homie. Wanted to holler at you. I say, but I want to holler at you. What's all this? What's all this? So now, somebody had peeped it and ran back in the block and told the Crips, hey, man, Cartoon out there, man. It's about 15, 20 disciples out there. He out there by himself. So now dudes rumbling, here they come. So now when they start falling out the front door, bloom, 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 bloom. So now everybody looking. So I said, ho. I said, hold up, cuz, hold up. They like, man, what's up, big homie, cuz, what's happening? Man, what's going on, man, what's up? I'm like, calm down. Hold on. I said, me and Rock finna talk. I say, Rock, man, you come to holler at me. Why you bring all of them? He like, man, you know they're my people, man. They don't know what you was on. I don't know what you was on. I just come to see, but they come to see with me because them, you know, and these my people too. These my folks. He said, these my folks. I said, man, shoot, man, I'm trying to holler at you, not them. I say, let's walk. I'm gonna leave them here. You leave them here. He like, all right. We walked down by another block, and I told him, I say, look, I'm quite sure that you know such and such is back there in lockup. And eventually he finna get out. I say, man, I know what happened in the other prison, and I know what happened in the prison before that. I say, homie, listen, I ain't gonna beat around the bush. I'm gonna tell you straight up, it ain't gonna happen here. Ain't nobody finna do nothing to him for free, period. I say, on this one right here, all bets off, all understanding is off. I say, so what is gonna be? He was like, no, Toon, man, I told you, man, when we first heard about that other stuff, man, that, man, you know, we've been living in peace here, man. We ain't gonna trip, man. It ain't like that, man. Boom, boom, boom. We just want to keep the peace in this prison right here, man. All that other stuff going on around the system, we gonna let it go on around the system. I said, all right. I say, that's your word? He said, that's my word. I said, all right, Rock, I'm gonna take you at your word, homie. You know what I'm saying? But just know, if it goes south, this prison is going to be a bloodbath. He said, I understand. Yeah, man. We ain't finna trip with him. Long as he don't come up here tripping with us, we ain't gonna trip with him. I say, cool, homie. I say, I'm gonna make sure he don't step on y'all toes and he don't trip with y'all. He like, all right, cool. So we walked back. He went with his people. They left. I got where my people went in. About 4 days later, the homie got out of lockup. As soon as he got out of lockup, he came to the block, came straight to me. I gave him the rundown. I gave him the 411 on the program, what was going on, how it was going on, boom, 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 boom. Cool. It wasn't no problem. It wasn't no problem. He ended up going to lockup. He ended up going to jail months later for some other stuff. Boom. But we kept in that prison. We kept the peace. We held it down. Didn't trip. Eventually, I went home and left. And by the time I went home, everything had calmed down around the system, and it wasn't no thing no more. It was one of them things. Man. But it was animosity held by both parties for a long time. You know, it was a lot of sideways look. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the whole situation was sticky and very volatile for quite a while. Eventually, it calmed down. It calmed down around the system, and boom, everybody went about their way and had a nice day. You know. But yeah, that's the story. That's it right there, y'all. I had to give y'all that one. I got to bounce. So in the meantime, in between time, man, y'all stay safe, stay above ground. Peace. I represent the gangsters, homie. I'm out.